Carbohydrate chemistry is a basic part from where your Viva questions are asked, right? So, what are the points? Definition and classification of carbohydrates, overview of biological function, structure and isomerism, reactions of different monosaccharides, and last but not least, oligosaccharides and polysaccharides, their components and importance, right? So, start. What is the definition of carbohydrate? What is the definition of carbohydrate? Polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones. So, they are the compounds that have polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones, and there are the compounds also which will produce them on hydrolysis. They may not have polyhydroxyketones gross in their open structure, but when hydrolyzed they will produce polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones. So, from the name carbohydrate, we can say it is the hydrates of carbon. Hydrates mean addition of water. So, when there is water molecule with a carbon, it is carbohydrate. So, the empirical formula, too easy to remember, a carbon with H2O water molecule whole to the power n. N is the number of carbon of the carbohydrate, right? So, here the basic examples of carbohydrates, glucose and fructose. So, how many carbon atoms are there? 6. It is known as hexose carbohydrate. And in case of glucose, the functional group is aldehyde. And in case of fructose, the functional group is ketones. So, aldehyde and ketone, they are not present together. Right? Either aldehydes will be there or ketones will be there. So, in case of glucose, aldehyde is the functional group. In case of fructose, ketone is the functional group. And for numbering the carbon, from where to start numbering? From the functional group. From the top, we will place the functional group at top. Okay, and we will start numbering the carbon atoms from that functional group. In case of ketone, it is obvious to place the keto group in second carbon. We cannot put the keto group in the first carbon. That's why the counting starts from above the above carbon. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Other than carbon 1, every carbon has OH group with it. In case of fructose and glucose both. So polyhydroxy. Boja gache what is polyhydroxy? Because there are various OH groups attached and there is a functional group. Clear? This is the smallest carbohydrate. Which one? Glyceraldehyde and dihydroxyacetone. Smallest aldehyde, smallest ketone. Okay, we will take glyceraldehyde as the reference carbohydrate. What is reference carbohydrate? As this is the smallest carbohydrate having one chiral atom, chiral carbon. What is chiral carbon? 4 different groups are attached with one carbon. So, in this 3 carbon carbohydrate, first carbon is aldehyde carbon. Second carbon, it is the chiral carbon. Chiral carbon with a the hydroxyl group. And in the last carbon, it is the last carbon. Okay. So, here the second last, here it is the middle one, but the second last carbon we will take as reference carbon. Okay. Now, here is a product, compound, that is starch. Starch ki, what is starch? Starch is a polysaccharide. It is a homopolysaccharide. That is, it is made up of multiple units of glucose molecule. Glucose. Okay. So, when starch is hydrolyzed, glucose is produced. The starch itself as a whole molecule, there are no free hydroxyl groups or aldehyde groups or keto groups. Okay. But when hydrolyzed, they will produce monomers that contains polyhydroxyaldehydes or ketones. Okay, now coming to biomedical importance of carbohydrates. You tell me why carbohydrates are needed? Energy source, fuel source, because it is the major part of our food. From food we get energy, so it is the main source of energy. Second thing is storage. So for the daily energy source we eat and we get energy, but in case of suppose where there is starvation or lack of food, so our body needs to store something for future. So how the storage happens? Glycogen. For the immediate storage it is glycogen. Glycogen is stored in liver and muscles. Okay, so glycogen is the storage form, and then if needed, carbohydrates can be converted into proteins and fats also. In case of fat, excess amount of glucose or excess amount of carbohydrate if taken, they will be converted into fat and will be stored in our adipose tissues, right? So that is another thing. And next is structural component. Carbohydrate is very important as structural component. So in the cell membrane and cellular functions, glycoproteins and glycolipids are there. Okay, so carbohydrate moieties are linked with protein moieties or lipid moieties, and they form receptors, cell wall signaling molecules, etc. Okay, and they are also carbohydrate derivatives which acts as drugs. Okay, we will learn about glycosides also. And for disease purpose, diabetes mellitus, it is the most concerning disease in modern world. So we should learn the basic metabolism and structure of carbohydrate. Okay, these are the sources of carbohydrate, you all know, right? Now coming to classification of carbohydrate, you tell me how carbohydrates can be classified. On the basis of number of carbons. Initial classification is based on the simplest monomer. How many monomers are there? Okay, so that can be classified as monosaccharide, oligosaccharide and polysaccharide based on the number of smallest units or monomers present. So monosaccharide, from the name we can say there is one single sugar that cannot be hydrolyzed any further. So the property of polyhydroxyaldehyde should be there and it will be the smallest unit. So monosaccharide. Oligosaccharide, that is 2 to 10. Okay. So where there are two monosaccharides, we will call it as disaccharide, and from 3 to 10 it will be oligosaccharide, comes under oligosaccharide, and polysaccharide which is more than 10, very good. Now coming to monosaccharides. Monosaccharides we can divide it as the number of carbons. Now here we can divide the monosaccharides according to the carbon number present and also based on the functional group present. So triose has 3 carbons, tetrose 4 and so on. Okay, so most important carbohydrate or what is majorly present in nature is D-glucose. Okay, hexose, that is glucose, and galactose, fructose, etc. And another most important carbohydrate that is required for our genetic material, ribose and deoxyribose. Okay, pentose sugars. So these are the basic structures of triose and tetroses. Okay, in triose, glyceraldehyde dihydroxyacetone we already studied. Same here. See one thing, glyceraldehyde, this is the second carbon. Second carbon I told you to take as reference carbon. Why? This reference carbon, here the arrangement of H and OH will determine isomers. Okay, isomers, and we will study in details in isomer part. So here see, this is D-glyceraldehyde. Okay, because the OH group is in the right hand side. Here same, we just have added one carbon atom above the penultimate carbon or the second last carbon. Okay, so total number of carbon here is 4, but the OH group is still in right hand side. That is why this is D-erythrose. Okay, clear? Here pentose and hexose. See, in all these hexoses, the penultimate carbon means the second last carbon. Always remember this. Second last carbon determines the D or L form, and this is known as enantiomer. Okay, enantiomer is the spatial arrangement difference between each other carbohydrate in reference to their penultimate carbon. In case of hexose, what will be the penultimate carbon? Which carbon? C5, fifth carbon. Right? In case of erythrose, which carbon? Third carbon. So C5 penultimate mane hexoser khetre C5. In case of any tetrose, it will be C3 and so on. So second last carbon. Okay, bojha geche. Now coming to, acha, everybody understand Bengali here? How many of you don't understand Bengali? Okay. So see, here are the examples, important examples of triose, tetrose, pentose and hexoses. So these triose and tetroses are mostly the intermediates of carbohydrate metabolism, and pentose, we all know ribose and deoxyribose are the structural base backbone of DNA, RNA, and hexoses, these are the main dietary carbohydrates. Okay, what is galactose? What is galactose? Epimer of glucose, other than where it is present. Galactose? Glucose, fructose to found in fruits, right? Glucose, lactose, what is lactose? Galactose key, why galactose is important? Anybody? Galactose with glucose forms lactose, that is the milk sugar. So when milk is digested, so we get galactose and glucose. Okay, and mannose also is a epimer of glucose. Okay. Now oligosaccharides, just few oligosaccharides and their names and the components. Okay, so here disaccharides mane two monosaccharides are there. Two monosaccharides, maltose is composed of two glucose molecule, lactose composed of glucose and galactose, sucrose composed of glucose and fructose. Okay, so these three are the important disaccharides. And trisaccharide, tetrasaccharide, pentasaccharides, these are mostly part of our dietary fibers. Okay, they are not digested much, these are dietary fiber part. And two monosaccharides are joined by one glycosidic bond. We will study in detail what is glycosidic bond. Okay. Now polysaccharides, we all know that more than 10 monosaccharides when combined they form polysaccharides. Polysaccharides can be of two types, homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. So homopolysaccharide where all the monomers are same monosaccharide is used for forming the polysaccharide, and heteropolysaccharide, what happens? There are different more than two, at least more than one. Okay, and they can be linear or branched. They can be straight chain, linear, or they can be branched. Okay, so these are the examples: starch, glycogen, cellulose, dextran, chitin, inulin. All these are homopolysaccharides, and heteropolysaccharides are agar, mucopolysaccharide, etc. Okay, now coming to isomers. What is isomer? The formula, chemical formula, where the chemical formula is same for two different molecules, but their function is different or their properties are different. So in case of glucose and fructose, both their chemical formula is C6H12O6, but they are different carbohydrates. They show different properties, right? So this chart is the basic types of isomerism seen in carbohydrates. Okay, same molecular formula but different structure, and then structure differentiation can be done based on constitutional isomers, stereoisomers and optical isomers. Okay, so in case of constitutional isomer, that is the functional group isomerism, that is the structure itself is different, constitutional difference is there, functional group is different, that can be divided into aldose and ketose in case of carbohydrates, because the main functional group will be either aldehyde or it will be a keto. Clear everyone? So the functional group isomerism can be divided further into aldoses and ketoses. We easily can give example: glucose and fructose, erythrose, erythrulose, glyceraldehyde, dihydroxyacetone. There are many. Now coming to stereoisomers. Stereoisomers where the atoms are connected in same order but differ in spatial arrangement. Okay, so when we think of a carbohydrate molecule, we have to think of individual carbon and hydrogen and oxygen placements. So in a linear chain, when we place the H and OH groups in left hand side and right hand side, there will be difference. OH can be placed in right hand side or can be left hand side. I showed you in the glyceraldehyde reference molecule, okay, where the second carbon we took it as the reference carbon and we placed it, the OH in the right hand side, and we marked it as D, capital D glyceraldehyde. When it will be in the left hand side, it will be capital L glyceraldehyde. So the C5 carbon stereoisomers are known as C5 or penultimate carbon isomers are known as enantiomers. Enantiomers are the exact mirror images of each one, but they will be non-superimposable. We cannot just take one and put on another. Okay, if any mirror image is superimposable, they are the same molecule. Eta mone rakhte hobe. Okay, if any molecule there is superimposable with its mirror image, they are basically same molecule, and in case of enantiomers, they will be non-superimposable mirror images. Example: D and L form, of any carbohydrate. Clear? Now coming to diastereoisomers. Diastereoisomers, they are not mirror images. Okay, they are not mirror images, but there is difference in spatial arrangement of OH and H groups. আমি example দিয়ে বোঝাচ্ছি. But before going into the example, diastereoisomers can be of two types, epimers and anomers also. But diastereoisomer is the spatial arrangement of OH group other than the penultimate carbon. You just remember this. When the difference is between spatial arrangement differences between only penultimate carbon, it will be enantiomer. All other carbon differentiation will be diastereoisomers. Okay, in case of glucose, see, in case of glucose, this will make L and D form, capital N and capital D form, enantiomers. But C2, C3, C4, they will form diastereoisomers. Okay, so any change, if this OH group is in this side, this will form diastereoisomer. And which kind of diastereoisomer it will be? Epimer. Okay, so in case of epimer, what happens? There is only single carbon differentiation. Okay, see here, D glyceraldehyde, L glyceraldehyde. Okay, so this is enantiomer, this is D glucose, this is L glucose. Clear? The difference here is in penultimate carbon. বোঝা যাচ্ছে তো? Clear তো? Now these are the diastereoisomers. Why? Because see, this is the reference molecule. This is the reference molecule, D glyceraldehyde, where the reference carbon, the OH group is attached on right hand side. This is D form, and all other carbohydrates, they have the same arrangement, spatial arrangement. হয়েছে তো? So they all are D form, and we are just adding one carbon above this reference carbon each time. But here see, this Yes, OH is in the right hand side, here OH is on the left hand side, but is it the penultimate carbon? No, that is why these two are not enantiomers. What will be they? They will be epimers. So here only two compound is there, but if this happens, we add another carbon above each other. So these four will be diastereoisomers of each other. Okay, these two will be epimers because only one carbon difference will be there. In epimers, there will be only one carbon difference. Okay, see, glucose and mannose, C2 is different. In case of galactose, where is galactose? Here. How many difference, carbon difference? One carbon. In which carbon? Galactose and glucose, they are epimers on C4. Count the carbons. Kothay? 1, 2, 3, 4. In fourth carbon, OH group is on the left hand side, where in glucose, right hand side. All other carbon arrangement are same in galactose and glucose. Clear? Is it clear? So in case of diastereoisomers, there will be difference in special arrangement of H and OH group in C2, C3, C4, C5, any one. But it is specific for penultimate carbon, it will be enantiomer. For enantiomer, remember the term penultimate carbon or the second last carbon. In case of epimers, there will be a single carbon difference. Clear? Is it clear? And coming to the asymmetric carbon atom. How many asymmetric carbon atoms are there in glucose? Here is the structure. Now, dekhe bol, how many chiral carbons are there in glucose? Chiral carbon. What is chiral carbon? 4 different groups are there attached with one carbon molecule. So, how many such chiral carbons are present in one glucose molecule? 4. 4. Which one? C2, C3, C4, C5. Clear? Because in carbon 1, 2 bonds are attached with oxygen. In 6 carbon, 2 hydrogens are attached. So, other than these two, in all the carbons, they are chiral. So, there is a rule. Okay. It is known as Van't Hoff's rule. Van't Hoff's rule states that the number of total isomers depends on the chiral carbons present on a molecule, and that the rule is total number of isomers will be 2 to the power n, where the n is the number of chiral carbons. Okay, so if glucose contains 4 chiral carbons, so how many isomers will there be? 16. Now look at this. How many isomers are there in this chart? 8, and we got from the rule 16. So where are the other 8? L form. Very good. Okay. So each carbohydrate will have their L form. So here we are having 8 hexoses. They are D form. So there will be L hexoses also. Clear? This until this clear? Now coming to epimer, I told you it is around a single carbon atom difference will be there. And examples, mannose and galactose are accordingly C2 and C4 epimers, okay, of glucose. But mannose and galactose, what are they? Are they epimers? Are they enantiomers? What are they? They are epimers of glucose, but mannose and galactose, they are each other's what? Enantiomer. For enantiomer, I told you, look at the last second last carbon, penultimate carbon for enantiomer, and remember enantiomer will create D and L form only, capital D and capital L form only. Mannose and galactose at difference, how many carbon difference are there? 2. So more than one will be diastereoisomer. Diastereoisomers. Mannose and glucose, they are diastereoisomer of each other. Clear? Now coming to anomers. What is anomer? What is anomer? To understand anomer, we have to create the anomeric carbon first. Okay, in open chain structure of glucose, this open chain structure, C1 is not chiral carbon. C1 is not chiral here, but in this ring form, what is this structure? This is hemiacetal ring form. Okay, and both the structures, open chain and hemiacetal ring form, were suggested by Dr. Emil Fischer. Okay, so these, in this form, what happens? Look at the chiral carbon, carbon 1. It was not chiral before in open chain. Look at the structure. In open chain, C1 was not chiral. Why? 2 bond ache. There is a double bond with oxygen, but in the hemiacetal ring structure, what happens? It becomes a chiral carbon. There are 4 different group attached with this C1, H, OH, O, and the remaining this. Clear? Now this has become a chiral carbon. So in our equation of 2 to the power n, n has become now 5, but we will get which kind of isomer here? And this is again for the arrangement of OH group. Okay, but in this hemiacetal ring form or the rectangular structure, we cannot say whether this is in the right hand side or on the left hand side, right? There is nothing above it, so there is no reference frame. That's why the Howard's formula was projected. In case of Howard's formula, look, we can say whether the OH is below the ring or above the ring. Clear? So this structure, Howard's formula, this structure is known as, what is the name of this structure? Glucopyranose. Glucopyranose. What is a pyran structure? Pyran ring is 5 carbon ring, that is a hexagonal structure. Hexagonal structure made up of 5 carbon and 1 oxygen. So this is a pyran ring, glucopyranose. And what is furan ring? 4 carbon with 1 oxygen, pentagonal structure, that is furan. Clear? So glucose can be glucopyranose or glucofuranose. Fructose can also be fructofuranose. Mainly fructofuranose is there, but fructose can also be fructopyranose also. Okay, is it clear how the C1 becomes anomeric carbon or chiral carbon? So C1 is anomeric carbon now because it will create another 2 types of isomers. And what are they? What are the anomers? They are alpha and beta. When the OH group of anomeric carbon lies below the glucose ring, it is alpha, and when it lies above the ring, it is beta. See? Clear? Anomeric carbon atom, which one is anomeric now? C1. So C1 creates 2 isomers, they are alpha and beta. Now you just think, we already have 16 isomers of hexose, each have anomers, each will make alpha and beta structure. So how many will be there total? 32. So total number of isomers of glucose will be 32. Clear? For everyone, is it clear? Total number of isomers are, why are they formed, how are they formed? Clear though? Now coming to optical isomers. Okay, optical isomer has nothing to do with the structure or the structural difference. It is a property of a carbohydrate. What is the optical isomerism? When a beam of plane polarized light is passed through any solution of carbohydrate, it will show a deflection. We are passing a plane polarized light with a solution, in between a solution, and the light will deflect either to right or to left. When it is deflecting towards right, it will be known as dextrorotatory, and when the light deflects to left, it is levorotatory. And see how we write dextrorotatory and levorotatory. We write dextrorotatory as small d or plus, and levorotatory is denoted as minus or small l. So it has nothing to do with capital D and capital L. Always remember, capital D, capital L is a sign of enantiomers. Okay, and capital L can also show D deflection, small d or dextrorotatory deflection, and opposite also. In case of D-glucose, it is dextrorotatory. D-glucose is dextrorotatory, but D-fructose is levorotatory. Okay, if we pass the light beam in a solution of D-fructose, light will be deflected left hand side. In case of glucose, it deflects right hand side. Now, if we mix equimolar mixture of two optical isomers like small d and small l of glucose, there will be no net optical rotation. If we mix equimolar mixture of optical isomers, so what are the optical isomers? Small d and small l. Clear? If we mix equimolar of both of them, there will be no net deflection of light, and that is known as racemic mixture. This is also asked. Now coming to another property of carbohydrate, that is mutarotation, and mutarotation is based on the optical isomerism property. Okay, so what happens when a fresh D-glucose solution is prepared? It is mostly in the alpha form. Okay, so initially the alpha form shows a deflection of plus 112 degree. All the D-glucose molecule in solution will be in alpha anomeric form. Is it clear? Alpha anomeric form, the pyranose structure, glucopyranose structure, where the OH group in C1 carbon will be in the below plane, and initially the optical rotation will be plus 112 degree. But as the time changes, after 18 to 12 to 18 hours, the optical rotation will come to 52.5 degree, plus 52.5 degree, and this change in rotation with time, this property is known as mutarotation. So why this happens? Alpha D glucopyranose shows a rotation of 112 degree, and beta D glucopyranose shows a rotation of 19 degree only. Okay, now at the equilibrium, we will get 1/3 of alpha type and 2/3 of beta type. Mane among the 100% freshly prepared D-glucose solution, there will be initially 100 alphas. Okay, but alpha will be converted into beta form over time, and at the equilibrium point, there will be only 1/3 alpha and 2/3 of beta. So the resultant rotation will come to a midpoint where it will be plus 52.5. Is it clear? Last bench. What is mutarotation? What is mutarotation? I am telling it right now. So what is your problem? So now you focus. Okay, mutarotation is the phenomenon where the optical rotation changes over time, and this is seen is carbohydrate solution. And why this happens? Because the alpha form initially shows an optical rotation of 112 degree, and with over time it changes to beta form, and beta form shows rotation of 19 degree. But at the equilibrium, what happens? Among the whole glucose molecule, 1/3 will stay as alpha and 2/3 will be converted into beta. That's why the resultant rotation will be 52.5 degree. Clear? This is mutarotation of carbohydrate. Now coming to reactions of carbohydrate. খুব তাড়াতাড়ি এগুলো বলে যাচ্ছি. Benedict test you have done in your practical, right? So why Benedict was done? Benedict was done to detect any reducing sugar or anything reducing property, তাই তো? So we are studying carbohydrate, so glucose এর মধ্যে or fructose or sucrose, anything whether any carbohydrate is reducing or not is detected by Benedict's test. So what is seen in Benedict's test? There is a gradual change of color. Copper sulfate blue is changed to brick red cuprous oxide if the reducing sugar is present. So why this reaction occurs? Any aldehyde or keto group, free aldehyde or keto group will be converted into enediol. Okay, enediol. See, the double bond from CO will be converted to double bond CC. Okay, this is enediol form, and see the enediol from glucose and fructose both are same. Right? Aldehyde and keto group will form the enediol and it is strongly reducing. That's why there will be a change of color. And this is a semi-quantitative test. Benedict's test is a semi-quantitative test. Why? Because we cannot detect the exact glucose amount, but we can say a range. Okay, in which range the glucose is present. If the color is green or yellow, it is lesser, low, and if it is red or orange red or brick red, it is on the higher side. Okay, so have you seen anything like this? And it is important for bedside detection of glucosuria. Now, these are the carbohydrates that will give positive Benedict's. All the carbohydrates, all the monosaccharides should give the Benedict's positive. Why? Because of the aldehyde or keto group. Aldehyde or any aldehyde keto group will form the enediol form, will be tautomerized to enediol form and will give the Benedict positive. And for the disaccharides, lactose, maltose, they give positive Benedict. Which doesn't give positive? Sucrose. Why? Because the aldehyde from glucose and keto from fructose, they both form a glycosidic bond to make the sucrose. Okay, but if sucrose is hydrolyzed, they will form one glucose, one fructose, and then it will give positive Benedict. Same in case of starch also. Okay, starch is a polymer of glucose where all the aldehyde groups or C1 carbon, they are used to make the glycosidic bond. 1,4 alpha 1,4 bonds are formed. So in case of starch also, what happens? No free aldehyde group is present. But if hydrolyzed, starch will give rise to multiple glucose molecules and they will give positive Benedict. Okay. And this is also asked, what are the non-carbohydrates that give positive Benedict? So they can be uric acid or ketone, high ketones, homogentisic acid, vitamin C, drugs, different drugs and different compounds like glutathione, salicylate and glucuronide. Okay. So these are also asked. Name few substances which are non-carbohydrate but give positive Benedict. Okay. Now coming to glucose oxidase test. This is a bedside test used to detect urine sugar. If glucose is present in urine, it is oxidized by glucose oxidase to form gluconolactone and H2O2. This H2O2 reacts with a colorless dye in presence of peroxidase enzyme to give rise a oxidized colored dye. Okay, this might not make any sense, but look at this. This is the urine strip test. Okay, these strips, this is a strip, this is dipped in urine sample. If there is glucose present in the urine, it will react with the dyes. Okay, the dry dye and oxidase enzymes, peroxidase enzymes, they are present in the strip. Glucose will react and it will form H2O2. That H2O2 will make the colorless dye colorful. And with the color intensity, we can match with the chart given and we can say how much glucose is present. Now coming to osa-zone formation. What is osa-zones? Osa-zones, when phenyl hydrazine is reacted with carbohydrates, they react with C1 and C2 of carbohydrates, okay, and they form the osa-zone compound. Osa-zones are crystals, okay. Osa-zone crystals, they differ in various carbohydrates, and that's how we can differentiate their presence. But in case of glucose and fructose and mannose, look, all the differences between C1 and C2. In case of glucose, C1 contains aldehyde. In case of fructose, C2 contains ketone. And in case of mannose, the C1 contains CHO group, but in case of C2, OH is in the different side. But all other C3, C4, C5, C6, they all are same in case of glucose, mannose and fructose. That's why when phenyl hydrazine reacts with them, they form the same common D-osa zone. Okay, so we cannot differentiate glucose, mannose and fructose osa zones. They all will be needle shaped. This type of osa zones will be formed in glucose, mannose and fructose. For lactose, this cotton ball or powder puff appearance will be seen in osa zone, and in case of maltose, sunflower shaped crystals will be seen. Okay. Now few other tests. Molish test. What is Molish test? It is to confirm the presence of carbohydrate. Okay. So if Molish test is positive, at least 5 carbohydrates are required and they will give a purple ring at the junction. This is to confirm the presence of carbohydrate, any kind of carbohydrate with at least 5 carbon. Okay. Fellings test, same as Benedict test, to detect reducing sugar or not. Okay. Barfoed test. Barfoed test is done to detect monosaccharides. Okay. Monosaccharides give Barfoed positive, and this is how the scanty red precipitates are found in the Barfoed positive. Okay. Now Sullivan's test. Sullivan's test is done to differentiate aldehydes and ketones. Why are we doing all this? I am coming to the next slide. Here Sullivan's, in case of ketones, they will give cherry red color. Clear? So now coming to this chart, these are the most important carbohydrate. Glucose, fructose are monosaccharide, lactose, maltose, sucrose, they are disaccharide, starch is a polysaccharide. Now see, Molish will give positive for all carbohydrates with at least 5 carbons. So this will be positive for all the carbohydrates. Iodine test comes only positive in starch. Benedict's will be positive in reducing sugar only. So which are the reducing sugar? Glucose, fructose, lactose, maltose, all will give positive, but sucrose initially will give negative. But after hydrolysis, this will give positive. And starch also initially negative, but after hydrolysis will give positive. Barfoeds, to differentiate monosaccharide and disaccharide. So only monosaccharides will give Barfoed positive. All the disaccharides and polysaccharides will be negative. For Sullivan's, which will give, only ketone will give the positive. So fructose will only give positive Sullivan's, and sucrose after hydrolysis. Why sucrose after? So sucrose will be hydrolyzed in glucose and fructose. That's why Benedict's will also be positive and Sullivan's will also be positive. So starch will not give Sullivan's positive. Clear? Now this is the flow chart to how to identify any unknown carbohydrate. With all the tests I have previously told, initially we will do a Molish test. Okay, any solution of unknown carbohydrate, how to determine what is the exact carbohydrate present in that solution? So initially with the solution we will perform Molish test. So why? Molish test will confirm the presence of carbohydrate. Then we will do iodine test to differentiate polysaccharide and mono and disaccharide. So only starch will give iodine positive. So if the blue, deep blue color arises, it will confirm the presence of starch. So it will be very easy to differentiate starch. Initially Benedict will be negative, then after hydrolysis Benedict will be positive. starch confirmed. Now, where there is iodine test negative, next we will do Benedict's test to differentiate between reducing and non-reducing, because only non-reducing sugar is sucrose. So, we will eliminate the easiest ones first. Starch will give only iodine positive. So, initially we will do Molish to confirm whether any carbohydrate present or not. If present, we will do iodine test to differentiate starch. Okay, to confirm starch, we will hydrolyze starch and then Benedict will come positive. Now, next, in which the iodine was negative, then we will do the reducing test, Benedict's reducing test to differentiate sucrose, because it is the only non-reducing sugar. Okay, so if there is no red precipitate, that is we are suspecting sucrose, and in case of sucrose also, Benedict test will be positive after hydrolysis, and this is sucrose confirmed. In case where Benedict test is positive, this can be monosaccharides or disaccharides. Monosaccharides, among monosaccharides, glucose, fructose are reducing, galactose, mannose, all these are reducing, and in disaccharides, maltose, lactose, they are reducing. Now we will do Barfoids. Barfoids will differentiate between mono and di. Okay, so if Barfoid gives positive, that is monosaccharide, and where there is no precipitate, it is disaccharide. Now, by doing Osazone test, we can differentiate maltose and lactose, because both they have different Osazone crystals. Easy, we have differentiated disaccharides. Now coming to the monosaccharide part. From monosaccharide, we will do Selivanose, because among all other monosaccharides, fructose is the commonest keto sugar. So Selivanose, if comes positive, it will definitely be fructose. Okay, so in case of fructose, we will get needle shaped crystal. There is no Selivanose positive. It can be glucose, can be galactose, can be mannose, right? So after Osazone, we can see whether it is galactose or glucose mannose. We cannot further differentiate between glucose and mannose, because both their Osazones are needle shaped. Clear? Boja geche? Okay, oxidation reaction. Just look at the reaction. So oxidation reaction will give rise to glucuronic acid. Glucuronic acid is important component of heteropolysaccharide. Right? So glucuronic acid heteropolysaccharide er ekta component. Okay, now the different forms of alcohols can be formed. Glucose can be reduced to sorbitol. How? See, this is a glucose. The aldehyde group can be converted into alcohol group, can be reduced to alcohol group, and this is sorbitol. Okay, so sorbitol, mannitol, from ribose it will be ribitol, galactose to dulcitol. All these are important alcohols, derivatives of glucose. Why? Because they absorb water. Okay, they have high osmotic pressure. So they will absorb the water. What happens in sorbitol? In our eye lens, okay, if glucose is excess in amount, this will be converted into sorbitol, and sorbitol will keep the hydrogen water molecules with them, and it will give rise to cataract. And in case of diabetes mellitus, this happens. So these are the complications of diabetes because of the alcohol derivatives of glucose. Okay, mannitol can be used as a therapeutic agent to reduce intracranial pressure. Okay, and lactulose is used as a laxative to treat constipation. Laxative to treat constipation. Okay, glycosides. Now come to the glycosides. What are glycosides? Anything that is formed by a glycosidic bond. So glycosidic bond is formed in C1, right? It can be O-linked and N-linked. See, this is a C1, this is a C1. This can be O-glycosidic, this can be N-glycosidic. When N-glycosidic bond is formed, the OH group is replaced by an amine group. Okay, what are the useful glycosides? Cardiac glycosides, OAbin, doxorubicin, streptomycin, all these have therapeutic importance. Okay. Now formation of ester. Phosphate esters are very important. Glucose 1-phosphate, glucose 6-phosphate, they are metabolic intermediates and ribose, deoxyribose phosphate, they are the backbone of RNA and DNA. Amino sugar. Now see one thing, all the structures, all the reactions were happening in C1. Now amino sugar is a derivative of glucose where C2OH is replaced by an amine group. Okay, and thus glucosamine, galactosamine, all these are formed. And what are the uses of these amino sugars? They are part of heteropolysaccharides. Okay, and deoxy sugars, we all know from ribose we get deoxyribose, which is the sugar moiety of DNA. Now come to disaccharide. Tell me very fast. Sucrose, it is made up of glucose and fructose, the glycosidic linkage 1,2, and it has a property of invert sugar. Why? Because the hydrolysis of sucrose, initial rotation will be plus 66.5, but when hydrolyzed it will be changed into 1 glucose, 1 fructose. So initially you all know fructose is levorotatory. What is the optical rotation? It is minus 92, and glucose, the resultant was plus 52.5. So from plus 66.5 optical rotation of sucrose, after hydrolysis it will come to a resultant negative rotation because of the levorotatory action of fructose. ঠিক আছে? So plus to negative conversion. This is why it is known as invert sugar, inversion of optical rotation from plus to minus. বোঝা গেছে? Is it clear? So one equimolecular mixture of glucose and fructose is formed and it results in inversion of optical rotation. That is why sucrose solution is known as invert sugar. Now lactose. Lactose is the galactose on glucose, and this is a beta bond. Beta 1 of galactose is attached with C4 of glucose, and this gives a positive Benedict. I told you, lactose positive Benedict. Why? Because the anomeric carbon is free, C1 is free. That is why. Now lactose intolerance happens because of the lactase deficiency. What happens in our small intestine? Lactose is digested by lactase enzyme, and lactase enzyme helps in formation of galactose and glucose. But if there is no lactase, this lactose will be accumulated in large intestine, and bacteria will act on this lactose to form carbon dioxide and different carbon moieties, okay, resulting in diarrhea, bloating, etc. So indigestion of milk or milk products. So that happens because of the lactase deficiency. Now maltose. What is maltose? Maltose is glucose alpha 1,4. Okay, alpha structure glucose alpha 1,4 glycosidic bond. Why it is important? Because it is a reducing sugar because of this C1. What happened in sucrose? Both the functional group are occupied, right? That's why it is non-reducing. No CH group, no CO group. In case of all other disaccharides, one group is free, one C1 is free, and it is the end product of starch hydrolysis. Okay, isomaltose is same as maltose but alpha 1,6. This is also reducing sugar. Lactulose, I told you, it is a synthetic disaccharide. It is galactose and fructose beta bond. Okay, our body cannot digest beta bonds. Beta glycosidic bonds are not digested in our body except hoche lactose. That is also in our small intestine. Okay, blood er bhetor there is no beta enzymes, beta link breakage enzyme. Now coming to oligosaccharides. Other oligosaccharides, they help in formation of glycoproteins. What is glycoprotein? When small carbohydrates are attached with large protein molecules. Okay, so they are large proteins attached with oligosaccharide short chains, and they are of these types: O-linked, N-linked and GPI linked. I told you what is O-linked and what is N-linked, and there is also GPI linked. And what are the functions of glycoproteins? Okay, this you have to remember, what are the functions of glycoproteins. Few important glycoproteins and their functions. Clear? Now glycolipid, it is an important structural part of cell membrane, used for signaling and receptor purpose. Now coming to polysaccharide. Polysaccharides can be of homopolysaccharides and heteropolysaccharides. Homopolysaccharides are starch. What is starch? Starch is a polymer of glucose and it is a storage form of glucose in plants. It is composed of amylose and amylopectin. Amylose is a straight chain of alpha 1,4 and amylopectin is a branch chain with alpha 1,4 and alpha 1,6. 1,6 is the branching point always. Okay. Now, why the iodine test is positive for starch? Because amylopectin branches absorb iodine molecules and it gives rise to a dark blue color. Okay. Now, these are the hydrolysis products of starch. Just remember the dextrin term. Okay, different dextrins are the intermediates of starch hydrolysis. Now, coming to glycogen. What is glycogen? Animal storage form of glucose. So, it is a glucose polymer attached to a glycogenin core protein. Okay, there is a core protein called glycogenin and with glycogenin all the glucose molecules are attached with alpha 1,4 and 1,6 branching. Here the branching occurs at 10 to 18 units, after 10 to 18. In case of amylopectin, it was 25 units away. Okay, so in case of amylopectin branches, they were sparse, and glycogen branching, they are much dense. Liver and muscle, these are the places where glycogens can be stored. Now coming to cellulose. Cellulose is a beta 1,4 linkage of glucose, homopolysaccharide of beta 1,4. Beta 1,4. This is the beta form. Okay. And this cellulose forms the major part of dietary fiber. As beta enzymes are not present in our body, beta 1,4 bridges are hydrolyzed by cellobiose enzyme, okay, which is not present in our body. That's why we cannot digest dietary fibers or cellulose. So this helps in increased bowel motility and decrease the risk of constipation. Next, it also lowers the cholesterol level by attaching with bile salt. Okay. It also binds with toxic substances and decreases the chance of cancer, and it also reduces the peak blood glucose level by decreasing the absorption. Okay. Now coming to inulin. What is inulin? It is the polymer of fructose, beta 1,4 linked. That is why it is not digested in our body and it is used for measurement of glomerular filtration rate, GFR, or renal clearance. Okay. Why? Because it is not synthesized in our body and not reabsorbed in our renal tubules. That is why it is an inert substance. Inulin is an inert substance and that is why it is important for estimation of GFR. Now dextrans. Dextrans are highly branched homopolymers of glucose where 1,6, 1,4, 1,3 linkages are there. Okay. So here dextrose, dextrin and dextran, we all have studied these three. What is dextrose? Dextrose is the normal D-glucose. Because of its dextrorotatory property, it is known as dextrose, D-glucose. Dextrins are the intermediates of starch metabolism and dextran is a homopolysaccharide of glucose. Okay, chitin, it is also a homopolysaccharide, but the monosaccharide here is N-acetyl glucosamine and it is an important part of exoskeleton of insects. Okay. So dietary fiber, it can come as a short note. Okay, clear? Now coming to heteropolysaccharide. Plant heteropolysaccharides are these. Among these, agar is the most important heteropolysaccharide where galactose and glucose is used. Okay, and it is used in culture media for bacteria and electrophoresis technique. So agarose polysaccharide, it is composed of agarose and agaropectin. It cannot be agarose. Why it is used as bacterial? Why agar plate is used as bacterial culture media? Because it cannot be digested by bacteria as there is no agarase enzyme. Okay, in bacteria cannot digest. Now coming to mucopolysaccharides, plant hoye gelo. Now coming to animal heteropolysaccharides, that is mucopolysaccharides or glycosaminoglycans. From the name glycosaminoglycans, we can say it is made up of one glycosamine or glucosamine and one glycan part. Glycan part means the glucose part of a glycosidic bond. So here we can see a glycosidic bond, C1 bond with another molecule. So it is glucosamine, okay, amino sugar, and here it is acidic sugar. What acid sugars are used? D-glucuronic acid and L-idiuronic acid. And what are the amino sugars that are used? Acetyl glucosamine, N-acetyl galactosamine. Okay. See, this is the structure of glucosamine. Amine ester, I told you, amine derivative, that is glucosamine. Glucosamine ki hoy C2 er OH is replaced by amine group, and these are the glucuronic acid, L-idiuronic acid. What is the difference? Glucuronic acid group is on the above and ioduronic acid is in the below plane. Okay, and see one thing, they all contains acid, and because of acid we will get negative charge. Acid group COOH will result in COO minus, and all the minus groups, all the negative charges will repel each other, and that's why there is a slippery action of mucopolysaccharides. Why the name is such mucopolysaccharide? Because it was derived from mucin. Okay, mucin is a slippery mucin, so it is a slippery substance, and the slippery property comes from the negative charges of heteropolysaccharide, and they repel each other. Okay, and they are surrounded by water molecules. See, these are the heteropolysaccharide molecules. They contains various H2Os with them. Okay, when there is pressure applied, all the water molecules will be separated, and when the pressure is uplifted, again all the water molecule will be absorbed. So it will give rise to a cushioning effect or a spring effect. That's why this is used in all our extracellular matrices. Okay, heteropolysaccharide, that is the reason why heteropolysaccharide material is used in all our connective tissues and extracellular matrices. See, these are the important heteropolysaccharides, their composition, where they are found, and what is the function. So this is the most important thing. This comes as your long question also, and this is also asked in details in your Viva questions. Clear? So now individual structures and the bond. See one thing, in this chart only, all the mucopolysaccharides contain glucuronic acid or ioduronic acid except keratin sulfate. This can be asked in a MCQ question also. Okay, which mucopolysaccharide does not contain acid sugar? Which one? Keratin sulfate. And which mucopolysaccharide contains ioduronic acid? Darmatan sulfate. Okay, this can be asked. What is heparin? What is heparin? Heparin is an anticoagulant. Okay. Now proteoglycans, glycoproteins we all studied. It is the small carbohydrates attached with large proteins. Proteoglycans are the opposites, where the small protein core is there and heteropolysaccharides are attached along with the core protein. So this is, proteoglycans are the ground substances, okay, or the connective tissue base substance. So see, hyaluronic acid, there is a backbone of hyaluronic acid, there is a core of protein, and all the proteoglycans, heteropolysaccharides are attached like threads. Okay, so here carbohydrate part is larger than glycoprotein. Now last thing, that is we all know about the normal things now. What are the structural parts, what are the linkage, where they are present, what are their functions, everything. Now coming to the disease of mucopolysaccharides, okay. It is known as mucopolysaccharidosis, and it happens because of impaired degradation of mucopolysaccharides by lysosomal hydrolase enzyme, okay. So if lysosomal hydrolase enzyme deficiency is there, so there will be impaired degradation of all the heteropolysaccharides and there will be accumulation of them. Hyaluronic acid, keratan sulfate, sulfur, chondroitin sulfur, darmatan sulfur, sulfate, all these things will be accumulated, right, and resulting in clinical symptoms like these, okay. And how to diagnosis? How to do the diagnosis? We can look for excessive excretion of mucopolysaccharides in urine, or we can diagnose prenatally from amniotic fluid. But the confirmatory diagnosis will be lysosomal enzyme concentration because it will be very less. That's it. And these are the types according to enzyme deficiency. So এর থেকেও কিন্তু MCQ questions আসতে পারে because they can ask you what is Hurler syndrome, or in Hurler syndrome which enzyme is deficient, or in Hunter's syndrome which enzyme is deficit, okay. Okay, thank you. Any questions? Any question? এখনো অনেক সময় আছে, half an hour এখনো আছে, বল। Any question from anyone? ওগুলো in details এ পড়তে হবে না, just you have to know the enzyme defect and what is accumulated, mainly key enzyme defect, okay. Now I will ask questions. If you don't have any question, I will ask questions. বল, শুরু থেকে শুরু কর। কার্বোহাইড্রেট ডেফিনেশন, polyhydroxy aldehyde or ketones. अच्छा, classification of carbohydrates. Give one example of disaccharide. Sucrose, maltose. What is the composition of maltose? Glucose plus glucose. Acha, how comes the reducing property of any sugar? The aldehyde or keto group just will form an enediol form, okay. So name one non-reducing sugar. Reducing sugars, glucose, fructose. Disaccharide, reducing disaccharide, lactose, maltose, everything, okay. Will starch give Benedict's positive? Never. After hydrolysis it will give, okay. Acha, after hydrolysis any substance can give Selivanov positive? Initial negative, but fructose will give Selivanov positive initially, and any substance after hydrolysis? Sucrose. So to differentiate between aldose and ketose, we will do aldose, ketose, aldose and ketose. Glucose and fructose differentiation will be done by Selivanovs. Selivanovs. Acha, to confirm the presence of carbohydrate, we will do Molish. Molish. It will give a pink, purple ring. Okay. Now, to differentiate between monosaccharide and disaccharide, Barfoids. Barfoids. Okay. And what are the least carbon required for Barfoids? Not for Barfoid, for Molish. 5. Okay. Acha, osazone formation is done in the carbohydrate because of which carbons? Phenylhydrazine reacts with first and second carbon. That's why glucose, mannose and fructose, they have the same osazones, and that is the structure of needle shape. And in case of lactose, it is lactose, it is cotton ball or powder puff, okay. Now you tell me What are the non-carbohydrate moieties that will give positive benedicts? Homogentisic acid, ketone bodies, and glycosides, glucuronic acid, okay, salicylic acid, all these. Clear? Acha. You tell me optical isomerism. Because of optical isomerism, there is a special property in glucose, mutarotation. What happens in mutarotation? Plus 112 optical rotation will result in 52.5 because of the interchange of alpha molecules to beta molecules. Okay, and such optical rotation is seen in another sugar solution, that is sucrose. Sucrose initial optical rotation will be 66.5 and the final will be negative. Final will be something in negative. Clear? And that is why it is known as invert sugar. So equimolar glucose and fructose will give rise to equimolar glucose and fructose is known as invert sugar, and racemic mixture is equimolar of optical isomers. Okay, and this will give no optical rotation. Clear to everybody? Huh? And polysaccharides, among homopolysaccharides, important homopolysaccharide, plant homopolysaccharide is starch and cellulose also. Cellulose is also very important for dietary fiber. Dietary fiber comes as short note. It is important because it is not digested, it makes the bulk of our food and it delays the glucose absorption. It helps in constipation and in lowering cholesterol, and also it reduces the risk of cancer. Clear? And glycogen, how glycogen is formed? What are the bonds? What 1,4, alpha or beta? Alpha. Remember, this is animal store, so we can digest, we can metabolize glycogen. That is why it is alpha 1,4 bond. Okay, alpha 1,4 and alpha 1,6 branching bonds. Okay, and name one heteropolysaccharide that is used in our laboratories. Agar. Okay, used as the bacterial growth plate and also used in electrophoresis mechanism. And why we use this as bacterial culture? Because agarase enzyme is absent in bacteria, that's why they cannot digest the agar. Clear? Now all the heteropolysaccharides, they are very important. Heparan sulfur, keratan sulfur, everything, hyaluronic acid, everything. Heparin is a anticoagulant. Okay, was this enough for a brief revision? More than enough, Nagi? Okay, but you have to study. Okay, you have to study it at intervals. Otherwise, it is very difficult to remember all the things. And in your first semester, these are the main chapters.